Life in the present time, I would say, is like a seagoing adventure. Just like Christopher Columbus, when he started out into the unknown to chart some new territories, he had no definite maps with him. And he set out on a journey into the unknown. He was not aware of the turbulent times that he might have to go through. Neither he was prepared to face those turbulent times. He was not even aware of the silently moving undercurrents in the ocean. He was not even aware of the wild sea creatures like sharks and whales. The only thing he had with him was a compass that gave him a constant direction and told him in which direction he is heading for. And with the help of this compass, he was successful to a certain extent. Life in the present time is also such. We are also living in this age of uncertainty, and we have no definite maps for the future times. We are not even aware of the type of turbulence that we might have to go through, and hardly we are prepared to face those turbulent times. We are not even aware of the silently moving undercurrents in business, maybe in our own life. And we are hardly aware of the types of creatures that we might have to encounter in the uncertain times. The worst part is we do not even have a compass that can tell us whether we are moving in the right direction or not. So we are totally at the mercy of, yes, anyone? We are totally at the mercy of, yes, God. And there are so many gods in today's age which to rely on. So we are totally at the mercy of market. Yes, we are totally at the mercy of crisis in today's age. In today's age, we are more of crisis driven than a vision driven. And in order to be successful, we have to have a very clear vision of where am I headed to and what I stand for. So it is said that there are three key propositions in the present time. The first is there is no turning back. Things are not going to go back to those stable patterns of the past. And we all see that the world is characterized by global competition. Revolutionary new technologies are coming in such a way. Disruptive social transitions, uncertainty, increasing complexity, accelerating change, and many others. So there is no turning back. Things are not going to go back to those stable patterns of the past. Global competition. To be successful in this global competition, what do we need? What do we require? Anyone? Compass.
We have to be cheaper.
Unique selling point.
Huh?
Unique selling point.
Unique 7 point. Okay. I'll just share a story. Once there were two people, maybe one from Hong Kong and another one was from America. And they were moving through a jungle. Suddenly, they heard a roar of a lion. So what the Hong Kong guy did was, He took out his jungle boots and put on his running shoes. So the other person from the US, he said, what do you think of yourself? By putting on these running shoes, are you going to run faster than the lion? So the Hong Kong guy said, I don't think so. I can run faster than the lion, but at least I can run faster than you. Yes? So in this global competition, what do we need? Running shoes. Huh? What do we need?
Velocity, speed.
Huh?
Speed, sir.
Speed. Skills. What skills? What do we need?
Think out of the box.
Adaptability, changing. We need a great presence of mind. We need a great presence of mind. Why I said American? American may have best quality shoes, which can run faster. The Hong Kong guy, he took an ordinary tennis shoes with him. But with those ordinary tennis shoes, he was successful. And the American became a victim. So in order to be successful in the present time, we need to have a great presence of mind when to change, when to adapt ourselves in this changing and how to adapt. So the second key proposition is we must find some new bearings so that we can roll on in the future times, which will tell us where we are. It is seen that the people who are successful have a very highly developed sense of where they are headed to and what they stand for. This is necessary because old reference points are just going to fall away. And there is a need to find the new bearings to steer through the turbulent times that are coming up. So we must find some new bearings. And the third key proposition is different skills are required in the present time. And as I mentioned, these are not the technological skills that I'm talking about. These are human skills that are required in the present. The soft part, that is, the human skills are required, which are known as the skills that can make us effective in the present environment. And these are known as the self-managing skills. These are not the skills that we learned in some training programs or any schools, no. Self-managing skills like intuition. Most of the function should be on intuition. And for that, I need to have a very clear focus. Flexibility, tolerance, calmness. Brother Mahesh was mentioning calmness. So these are the skills that are required in the present time to be successful. In order, many things may come up. And if we have a short temper, if we are reactive in small things, no adaptability, no tolerance, zero tolerance, things may just wipe you out. So, these are the three key propositions to be successful in the present time. Why? Because the aim in today's world is that to learn how to have more control on our own thoughts, feelings, and behavior. We heard a beautiful song by Brother Raju on thoughts. As you think, so you become. It has a very deep connection, thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So, in today's world, if we really want to be successful, we have to have control on our own self. If the thoughts are positive, purposeful, powerful, it will take us forward. If the thoughts are negative, waste, we may come down. We may come down. The energy may come down. We'll be burnt out of our energy. So that we can become a better leader through better self-understanding and the practical application of the spiritual knowledge and its principles. In today's world, there are certain principles, universal principles that are still functioning. Universal laws are still functioning. And sometimes we are unaware of it. And we want to make things happen in our own way, which is sometimes impossible. And that is where we all want to be leaders in our own field. But sometimes we just fall and take up that leadership. So that we take up more responsibility of our own life and stop blaming others or circumstances. This is what happens in the present time. Anything happens in our life and immediately we point out the finger of blame to somebody else. This person is responsible. It is because of this person, because of that person, or because of this situation that came up. We're always trying to point out the finger of blame onto others. But, very rightly said, the moment I point out my finger of blame onto somebody else means I totally disempower myself and give the locus of control of my thoughts, my feelings in the hands of others. I give them the permission that now you can disturb me, you can make me mad, you can make me go crazy. You have the permission. So, it is high time that we take up the responsibility and then we are able to find more creative ways instead of becoming subservient to some situations, circumstances, or people. Let me take the control in my hands. And together with that, so that we take a more personal responsibility of our own state of mind and emotions, because they are going to get disturbed the most. And then it becomes very difficult for ourselves to handle our own self. We cannot handle ourselves, we cannot handle the situation, we cannot handle the things around us. And so that we learn how to communicate better with people at a deeper level, not just head-to-head level, but at a deeper level, heart-to-heart level. And so that we are able to manage the major life changes that are to come in the future times. So this is why we need to adopt a spiritual approach in the present time, because this is where I'm going to get the energy from. Otherwise, we'll be totally in the hands of others like a puppet, and we may ruin our lives completely. And that is why we find people are under so much of stress in the present time. Going through stress Everyone is under stress. And what is stress? What is stress? There are 4 levels of stress that are seen. A mental level, emotional level, which affects the physical level. Whatever is happening, all that stress comes up in a physical self, physical body, in form of high blood pressure, high diabetes, 80% of the disease are due to psychosomatic reasons, due to stress. 80%. And all this is because the 4th aspect, which is the seed, and that is the spiritual. The spiritual is not handled, not understood, not taken care of. Where our spiritual identities, I am not aware of that. And that's why my perception and my values are changing, because the self-awareness, the self-respect is not there. And that is why the ego is inflating in each and every human being in today's age. And then it becomes so difficult to handle everything around us. So the seed somewhere is lying in the spiritual aspect. Because mind is also connected with the spirit. And therefore, it is there where we need to heal ourselves. We need to heal ourselves at a very deep level, and that is the spiritual level. Because that is going to affect us at all these levels, whether it is mental, emotional, or physical. We see some people victims of stress at the physical level in form of some of the other diseases. We see some people emotionally shattering, and we see some people mentally where they are just becoming or landing up in a state of depression. Why? Because the spiritual power is not there to handle themselves. That is where we are going to get the strength from. Just as the physical immunity, when it comes low, a slight change in weather can affect our physical body. We go up to the doctor and the doctor will say, oh, it's viral infection, nothing else. But if we ask him, why did I get this viral infection and not anybody else? The doctor would say, well, your physical immunity is low. That's why. But the physical immunity is also low because of, like during COVID, we know many people in the world did not actually die of COVID. Many people died because of the fear of COVID. So this is the spiritual aspect. The strength, the spiritual immunity was not that much. That is why the fear was taking over. And they lost hope. So the immunity fell to such a level that they were healthy when they went to the hospital, but within a few days only, the physical immunity came down so much that they lost their lives. Isn't it? In the coming years, that is why we need to enhance our spiritual immunity. When we are able to enhance our spiritual immunity, then whatever problems may come up, whatever the ups and downs that come up in business, we are able to handle ourselves and the business also, and can be successful. We take up this one aspect, stress. What is stress? Stress is actually the pressure upon the resilience power. Challenges are so great in today's world, and to cope up with the challenges, the inner strength is not enough. The resilience power is not there. So when that is not there, the stress is building up. And that is taking all our spiritual immunity, making us weaker from within. And that is why there is fear in each and every person. Fear of failure, fear of being criticized, fear of something or the other. There is constant fear that people are going through. Because the pressure is not from just one side. Individual is in the center, and the pressure from all four sides. One pressure is from the past. There are unresolved situations, memories that we are holding on to, and we cannot let go of that. And that is creating a pressure. The second pressure is from the future, living in this age of uncertainty, where there is constant fear of the unknown. And in the present, there are two pressures. One is known as the internal, and the other is the external. External, that which is not within my control, but it is affecting my life. Government policies are changing. International trade system is changing. Competition is coming up in such a way. That which is not in my control, but it is affecting me. And the fourth pressure, the internal pressure of my own negative thinking. And sometimes all the four pressures come together. As soon as there is a situation or any problem or anything which is not within my control, it comes up. And then it is connected to some past memories that has happened. Then there is the fear of the unknown, what will happen, the stress that is building up, and then the negative thinking starts. So all together, this is what happened during COVID. When all the four got together, the physical immunity fell and they became a victim. So this is what is happening. So how much power do we have to cope up? The spiritual power. Therefore, to be successful in today's business, this is the power that we need, the willpower, the power to move forward, the power to handle ourselves, especially. We cannot handle that which is not within our control, but we can handle our own self. I need that power so that I can balance my state of mind, which is fluctuating, and there is so much upheavals inside that sometimes people are not able to sleep throughout the night. And so, in the present time, why the need of spirituality? Because we find any event that comes up, maybe any problem or any challenge or anything that comes up in life, it is demanding a response from the individual. Any problem, any situation, any challenge in the business, maybe when it comes up, it is demanding a response from the individual. And supposing I get irritated, and where would the irritation come out from? So that irritation influences the behavior, and it comes out through the behavior. And that behavior feeds into the problem. Is the problem going to be resolved or worsen? Will it get worse or will it be resolved? Worst. So when it has got worst, it is not resolved. So again it demands a response. More irritation is generated. More stress. And out of that stress, more irritation comes out. When it comes out through the behavior again that feeds into the problem, making it more worse. And this is how we get into a vicious cycle. Event, reaction, vicious cycle. And then we have worsened it so much. Therefore, the saying goes, turning molehills into mountains. राई को पहाड़ बना देना. Turning molehills into mountains. The problem was like a molehill. Who turned it into a mountain? I, because I did not how to respond. So then, in order to resolve this problem, I need to spend time, which is valuable, money, energy, resources. Time, money, energy, resources, all I have to put in so that I can resolve that problem. Maybe we have to find out a lawyer or a barrister who can take care of that, resolve that problem. And sometimes we sit back and think, only if I would have been a little bit calmer at the initial stage, maybe I would not have worsened this problem so much. But now, I cannot be calm. Someone may suggest us, look, instead of going into the court and this and all these things, all these problems, why don't you just go up and say sorry to that person? Maybe everything will be all right. And then, is it easy for me to say sorry? No, my ego comes up in between. Why should I say sorry? Oh, why should I say? But when the spiritual aspect is that, when any challenge comes up, any problems come up, and it is demanding a response, and at that time I just sit in meditation, be calm, cool, respond in a positive manner. Now that response would come out through the behavior, and that positive behavior feeds into the problem, and sometimes we can turn mountains into molehills. And many people would say, how could you do that? It was such a big problem. We thought that we are going to lose everything, but how did you manage that? It was just because of the positive response. And the positive response was due to spiritual understanding. Regularly nourishing the mind with some positive thoughts. This is why we need spirituality in the present time. if you really want to be successful in your business. Right? So it is said, success is not a destination. It's a journey, how you're responding. How you're responding in your life, in your relationships. Because business does not mean some commodity. Business is my relationship with individuals. Business means my interaction with my clients, my colleagues. It's that soft aspect. So that is why this event reaction cycle has to be understood. And therefore, whenever anything comes up, instead of being reactive, just be calm, settle down, think over it, and generate a positive response, and you'll find so many things become so easy to handle.